Hi guys, welcome to PrimaryShots.com. In this video tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to replace the sky on one of your images. Here you can see this is a shot I took in New York. The sky and the weather was pretty bad that day, and I completely blew out the top of this image. So I'm going to use this horrible image for the purpose of this tutorial only. So I found a nice beautiful sky underneath here. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to select the top layer, the subject layer, and I'm going to go up to the layers here, and I want to bring that sunset through the colors of it so I can see roughly where it is, because I want some of that orange to be in my image. So something like that. Okay, now let's put it back to normal. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to mask this. So we go down here and click on the mask button, and now we need to select the brush tool and make sure it's on black. Okay, now anything that we brush out in black here is going to expose the layer underneath. So we need to make sure we select that layer, and now basically we can just start brushing, and this is going to expose the layer beneath it. Now for the purpose of this tutorial, this is just a very quick thing I'm doing here. It's not going to turn out perfect because I usually spend many hours doing this to get it right. Now when you're shooting for large high budget clients, you really do need to take your time and make sure everything's perfect. So the techniques I'm teaching you today are literally just for a tutorial purpose. Don't take everything that I'm doing here as, you know, the perfect way to do it, because you do need to refine your skills and get better at what you do from practicing. Now I actually don't like this metal grid over here, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to rub that out as well. Okay, now we're left with that. Okay, now we need to zoom on in, and I'm going to go around him, and where are we? Select the brush tool again. Just going to get a bit smaller and go around him again. I'm actually going to make it a bit harder, the brush, because it's a lot easier to work with when you're closer up, like so. It's really just a case of getting comfortable with using the brush. The main thing I want to concentrate on at the moment is trying to get rid of the halo around him. Now, there's another way of doing this. We could actually use the magic wand tool here, and see if that works, because the magic wand tool is not extremely reliable. You have to kind of play around with the settings. I'm not sure if it's actually going to work for this image. Let's try somewhere about there. That's not too bad. Okay, what I'm going to do now is go up to select and refine edge. Now what this is going to do is it's going to show me where we're going to be cutting into. Now you can just see here, more so on here, you can see the kind of an edge around there. So you know that we're just cutting in a little bit into his head, which is not a problem. It's a lot better than having a white kind of saint looking halo around his head. So I'm going to get a smaller brush like this, and then we're going to go around his head. Remember, this is a rush job. I would usually spend a lot longer on this to get it perfect, but it's not too bad. We can just, let's try again down here. Okay, let's refine that edge again. Refine edge, and we can see it's just we don't want to feather it too much, because we want it to be realistic. It's pretty much just a case of playing with the settings here. So let's expand it. Okay. Okay, let's put the feather back out. We don't want it to feather too much. Okay, now we can see the edge here that we're going to be cutting off. Now that's fine. Okay, that... Oh, no, it's not fine. That was a bit too much. So let's go back in. Find the edge. We don't want to cut into his cheek too much. Okay, let's give that a go. Okay, now we get the brush tool again. And go around that layer there. Now, remember, as I said, this is purely a rush job for this tutorial. Please do spend some time on doing this so you get to know how it works and you get to feel comfortable with what you're doing. Okay, that's not too bad, but as you can see there's a horrible halo around in there, but we can get rid of that later. Okay, so let's fit it on the screen. And let's do the same over here. It's best to get the larger areas out of the way first. So that's too much. We're going to go up here, change the tolerance a little bit, because it's just taking too much. That's a bit better. Let's bring it down slightly. It's 60. Let's try that. A lot of Photoshop really is about trial and error. So don't be scared to experiment like I'm doing now. Okay, that's not too bad around that building, so I think for this tutorial we're going to go ahead and do that. Brush tool. I'm going to get a bit bigger this time. Okay, like so. It's actually come all the way down here, which is pretty good. Let's move it along. That's pretty good. We've completely lost that building there, but we can fix that later. Okay. Okay, let's get the magic wand again, and you see it's selected the lines. Okay, get the brush tool, and again, going over it all very quickly. Okay, what about this area here? See, now this area is going to be a little bit trickier because of the colours. They're very white colours, and as I said earlier, the magic wand tool isn't perfect at picking things up. But it's not doing too bad. I think we're going to have to freehand some of this. To be honest, I'm going to get rid of this pole. Let's get rid of the pole altogether. Oh, let's go back. If you have a straight line like this, another good thing you can use is the selection tool here, just the rectangle selection tool. Just try and find a good line, and then hit the delete key. Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting that we're using a brush. There we go, now we've got a nice straight line. Fit on the screen. Okay, it's getting there. Okay, we need to tackle this area over here. Let's try with the magic wand tool and see what we get. That's not too bad at all. So we're going to go over it again with this. Okay, fit on the screen. Okay, as you can see, that's a pretty poor rough job of doing that. Now, I would usually take my time to clone out this tool here, and kind of spend time going around the edges in the masking area. But to make this look a little bit more realistic, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to select the top layer here and the bottom layer. I'm going to duplicate the layers, and then merge them. So go down here and click on merge layers. Okay, now what it is that's create one image from the two layers we had underneath, so it's just one image. Now what we can do is we can actually play with the layer style here over the top of that layer to kind of see what effects we can get from it, because a lot of the time you'll be playing around with the layer style and you'll come across a really cool looking image. So let's go there. You see something like this, it darkens it all up, gives it a lot of contrast when you put it on multiply. Another good one is overlay. It's the same kind of thing. It makes things pop, the contrast too, and it kind of adds, you know, more of an epic feel to your image.